same thing that you've heard from Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Daniel so far. And he said, 2 Ezra 7:49. You know they have to be righteous men to have a book written of them? Out of all the people that lived in the earth? Listen. 2 Ezra 7:49. For what profit is it unto us if there be promised us an immortal time, whereas we, including himself, just like Isaiah, just like Jeremiah, just like Daniel, whereas we have done the works that bring death? Verse 50. And that there is promised us an everlasting hope, everlasting life, y'all. Whereas ourselves, including himself, being most wicked, are made vain. And that there are laid up for us dwellings of health and safety, whereas we, including himself, as you heard, Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Daniel say, including themselves, whereas we have lived wickedly. So all you prideful brothers and sisters that think you all that because you say you following the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, that don't mean nothing. Except for you think you righteous. You got something for you too. Hear the word of the Most High. And that the glory of the Most High is kept to defend them which have led a weary life. Whereas we, including himself, a righteous man, have walked in the most wicked ways of all. So we said this over and over again. And that there should be showed a paradise, kingdom, y'all, whose fruit endure forever. You hear that? Whose fruit endure forever? You picking it back again, picking it back again. Where it is security and medicine, since we, including himself, shall not enter into it. So he's fulfilling, not making thyself one of the number, as the Most High says. Now, all these things that you heard, I'll give you an example of Isaiah, Daniel, and Jeremiah, and Ezra. Now, you heard what they said. Now, Ezra, who was given more than any prophet, 204 books, 124 more books than we have. So, here it is. You heard them say this. Now let's look at 2 Ezra 8 and 48. Second Ezra 8 and 48 is, and this also thou art marvelous before the Most High. And this Ezra is marvelous before the Most High. Not only Ezra, we're going to see that Isaiah, Jeremiah, Daniel is marvelous before the Most High too. Because see how they all coincide with what Ezra did. And that thou hast humbled thyself first and foremost. That's opposite of being prideful. That's why we're saying we have sinned. We have sinned. Paradise is not, we ain't going to enter paradise. He put himself as one of the number of those that's going to be in the kingdom. And this also thou art marvelous before the Most High, and that thou hast humbled thyself as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. You hear that? I'm going to read you again. And this also thou art marvelous before the Most High. This is what I look for. I look for solutions. Now, if you can make it mean something different, I like to hear it. Because if you think you could be prideful and think you all that and boast yourself to be somebody in hell and tell me that you marvelous before the Most High. Because it says, and this also thou art marvelous before the Most High, and that thou hast humbled thyself, which is contrary to being prideful, as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. He said, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time, which we're living now, shall dwell in the world. Why? Because they have walked in great pride. So that's something that I don't want to see anyone walking in great pride, because when you prideful, you're going to fulfill the Most High bringing on this great miseries. He already say, you're going to get this through persecution. You're going to get this through affliction. But great miseries, you got to suffer and suffer and suffer. He said, look, for many great miseries, 2 Corinthians 8:50, shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world. Why? Because they have walked in great pride, which is opposite or contrary to being humble. But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. That's a serious statement that he told Ezra that I looked at sincerely. It's like, who really is like this? Who really gonna hear? I want to hear from you. Which one are you hearing what Isaiah said, what Jeremiah said, what Daniel said, and what Ezra said? 4 is the number for mercy. To take heed to what they're saying, that's modesty before the Most High. First thing he said, in that thou hast humbled thyself, and not thought yourself worthy to be accounted as one of the righteous. Or are you all that in your own side? Till your knowledge puffers up. So what? We got this knowledge. Big deal. I know many, many, many men and women that's been rolling in this truth and ain't in the truth no more. You don't know what's going to happen to you tomorrow. Don't wait till he come. Take whatever you have away from you, from your pride. You hear what he said? For many great miseries shall be done to them them that in the latter time, we in the last days, y'all, shall dwell in the world. Why? Because they have walked in great pride. So I'm looking at this, man, we got to humble ourselves. Can't be thinking you all that. We ain't nothing as we ought to be. We just like Isaiah said, we just like Jeremiah said, we just like Daniel said, and we just like Ezra said. These are examples. You want to be marvelous in the eyes of the Most High, or you're going to be the Most High's enemy. You're going to be in a fight with the Most High. Most High is a man of war. Y'all know that. Exodus 15:3. Most High is his name, right? So we got strategies of how he can kill you, how he can hurt you, how he can bring this misery upon you. Because that's what warfare is about. He'll have, so you want to be prideful? Okay, you're going to draw that evil to you. You ready for Satan? He said many great miseries are going to be those done to those that in the last days we living in, because they have walked in great pride. But understand thou for thyself, talking to Ezra, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee, that be like Isaiah, that be like Jeremiah, Daniel, and the prophets. All of them had the same type of spirit, man. Why you can hear it, but everybody don't have eyes to see because they ain't seeking out solutions that worked, that make you marvelous before the Most High, and stop him from hating on us because we offended him over and over again, calling on the name of other gods, other idols. Every day of the week is named after idol. I want you to hear me. Every single day of the week that you name out of your mouth, you calling on an idol. That's against the Most High. That's idolatry. You think they don't know that? You still calling on every last god, idol, that they named after idols for every day of the week. When you say the day, we said first day to seventh day. You can't say that. You can learn. First month to the 12th month. You can learn. You can say it. I say it all the time. You mean to tell me you have to sin? You have to sin. You have to do it. That what you're going to tell me? You have to say this. You have to do this because masters say you got to do it. Masters of the people are in ignorance, not knowing. Now that you know, you still going to do it? Yeah? I hear people, I got to do it. Well, when you stand before the judgment seat, and I'm telling you, you don't have to. You can't tell nobody that you believe in the Most High. The Most High say, Be circumspect and not to let all the names of these other gods, these other idols come out of thy mouth. You can't practice that. You can't be born again. You can't change. You're going to stand before the Most High and say, yeah, I know I heard it, but I had to do my thing. That's what these preachers are doing. I know the law says this, but I don't want to do that, so I ain't doing that. That's where you at as an Israelite. You better hear what's miles before the Most High. But understand thou for thyself, verse 51 of 2nd Ezra 8th chapter, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. That's real. Because look, hold that. Go to 2nd Ezra 14. That's those that be like Ezra, that's humble. That's not including himself as one of the righteous. That's a mindset that you gotta look at. Most High will, if I make it to the kingdom. You know, if His mercy and grace is upon us, or upon you or me, whenever the judgment comes, to say, okay, you willing, you know, to do what you need to do, that the Most High in the judgment will say, come on, well done, servant. Come on into the kingdom. Or you got the hellfire waiting on you. Lake of fire waiting on you. Because your name not written in the book of life, you can be cast into the lake of fire. At least you want to have an opportunity to be with the Mashiach Yahushua. He show you of the Most High for 1,000 years. Listen. So he told Ezra to seek out those that's like him. That's why it's okay, well, why are you not dealing with this, that, and the third, whatever, but it's a lot of pride. A lot of uplifting of I'm somebody in Israel. This is what he told Ezra. 2nd Ezra 14 and 9. But thou shalt be taken away from all. Meaning he's going to die. And from henceforth, thou shalt remain with my son. He's going to be with him, Mashiach Yahushua, and with such as be like thee, until the times be ended. So Ezra didn't have to come back here. He said he's going to be, but Ezra didn't hear this. That's right. That's why I say this is written for us. Ezra didn't hear this. He didn't hear this. Then you know, he didn't have to come back here. Because he said, you're going to be with my son, and with such as be like thee. That's why he says, seek out those that be like Ezra. That's very important. So I look at who really going to be humble, who really going to be taking this to heart, that they can be saved from the enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. Because you prideful people, look, you think the Most High going to love you? He going to save you as you prideful? Most High said, my name is jealous. Do you realize you could be stepping in the place of the Most High with your pride? A lot of y'all need uplifting by somebody to think you to be somebody. You already somebody. You already somebody. You don't need nobody to lift you up to be somebody. When you somebody. Go to 2nd Ezra. Ecclesiasticus 10, and we're gonna look at just a moment. Ecclesiastes 10th chapter, and we're gonna look at this pride. Because a lot of y'all need somebody to boast on you, to feel you somebody. You somebody. If the Most High called you, and the Mashiach shall have the opportunity to choose you, there's nothing more important, nothing more greater than the truth. Name it. This is what it says. Ecclesiasticus 10 and 7. Pride, which is contrary to being humble, as you see, the Most High said this marvelous in the eyes of the Most High that Ezra humbled himself and didn't count himself as one of the righteous. Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Daniel that I've showed you did the same thing. It's saying pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both does one commit iniquity. You see? Verse 12. The beginning of pride, which is contrary to being humble. Thinking you all that, is when one departed from the Most High. So you prideful, you ain't with the Most High. Somebody's prideful, they ain't rolling with the Most High. The beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker. For pride is the beginning of sin. Hear that? To think you all that is the beginning of sin, transgressing the Most High's laws. And he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Most High brought upon them strange calamities. Remember he told you that? Proverbs 1:24. They don't fear the Most High, so when he bring this calamity and destruction upon them, they're gonna cry unto the Most High, scream unto the Most High, holler to the Most High, and he ain't gonna hear them. He said, for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Most High brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. See. The Most High have cast down the thrones of proud princes. He cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek, which is the humble, in their stead. The Most High have plucked up the roots of the proud nations, like he's going to pluck up the roots of this proud nation and planted the lowly in their place. Esau is the end of the world, and humble Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Because you don't think you all that. Once you see what the Most High prophesied to happen in this world, oh, he say all men going to be afraid. We're going to see how macho, how prideful you're going to be in this day. Going to be a whole lot of humbling. You hear what the Most High said? He said the Most High have plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place. The Most High have overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. See, verse 18, pride was not made for men, nor furious anger for them that are born of a woman. They that fear the Most High are a sure seed. You afraid or scared of the Most High? You a sure seed because you fear the Most High. And they that love him, an honorable plant. You know, the love of the Most High is to keep his commandments. 1 John 5:3, for this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments. Commandments are not grievous. They that regard not the law, like you preachers talking about we ain't under the law, but under grace. They that regard not the law are a dishonorable seed. What do he call you? A dishonorable seed. They that transgress the commandments are a deceivable seed. Bunch of liars, man. That's why you gotta understand this, y'all. Proverbs 13:10. Proverbs 13:10. You can understand through the precept. All these precepts wouldn't be about not being prideful if it wasn't very important, y'all. Proverbs 13:10. Only by pride cometh contention, but with the well advised is wisdom. See, pride, with somebody that's prideful, you can't really instruct them. That's why the contention comes, because your pride. Especially it's like, okay, you listen to me hour after hour after hour after hour, then the book is closed, and I try and bring some spiritual understanding to you, and you got all this to say, this, that, and the third. I say, well, prove where you at through the precepts, to understand that you're not prideful. That's why I say, only by pride cometh contention, but with the well advised is wisdom. Wisdom is proper application of knowledge, how you apply this knowledge in your life. That's why I say this contention comes because people prideful, and they don't even know it, because they've naturally been born into a prideful world that say this is normal. And it's going to be sad, because when it's go down and you realize that what you're hearing is right, look at because it's going down. Ecclesiasticus 16 in the Apocrypha, verse 8. Neither spared he the place where Lot sojourned, but abhorred, hated them for their pride. Hear that? Neither spared he the place where Lot sojourned, Sodom and Gomorrah, but abhorred, but hated them for their pride. So what is America? Let's find out. Go to Revelations. The book of Revelations. Let's find out what she is. Look at Revelations 11th chapter and the 8th verse. This is America. Remember, it said the Most High killed all the people in Sodom and Gomorrah because of what? Their great pride. So what is America? Revelation 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, talking about America, which spiritually is called what? Sodom and Egypt, where also our master teacher was crucified. Right here. So America's called spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Sodom because you got all the men with men, women with women, and wickedness, because there was a lot of wickedness. Besides that, that was a safe place to run when you're wicked. Sodom and Gomorrah. That's why the Most High killed everybody there. And Egypt, because this is our captivity. Deuteronomy 28:68 says the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt, mean captivity, slavery, and bondage. We read Exodus 20:2. The Most High says send thee into Egypt, we the Israelites, again another time with ships. But we come in ships. Right here. They took us off our land here, put us in ships, sailed us over to Spain, from Spain to Africa, from Africa to America. Caribbean islands in America, all the different islands and so forth, dropped us off and came all the way to America. See, by the way where I speculated, thou shalt see it no more again. And there we go on these ships, you shall be sold unto your enemies. For bondmen, slave men, and bondwomen, slave women, and no man shall buy you. No man shall going to redeem us from the condition that the Most High put us in for us breaking his laws, statutes, commandments, what he told us going to give us to the worst of the heathen, the most wicked in all the world, and to an unjust king. He told us this. We read in Daniel. We wasn't there yet.